All right. Christy, are you muted? Are you playing farmhouse music? Okay. All right, guys, we are here. We are live and excited. This training for us, Natasha and I were chatting, which, by the way, Natasha has an amazing freaking PPA. And for those of you, if you don't know Natasha Robertson, she has been here for over 6 years. So she is a veteran in this business. And, you know, you hear, oh, well, when you've been here so long, you can't get new thrivers and it's just so hard. And Natasha, what's your PPA right now?
It is a 17.
17. So that's her 30-day PPA, y'all. And that is amazing. And that should just go to show you that you can still get people in this business. You can still share Thrive. You know, it's super simple. It literally just starts with sharing, right? Asking your friends, your family, have you heard of Thrive? Oh my gosh, I started promoting this experience. If you're new, that's what you're going to say. If you're old, you're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm still promoting this Thrive experience and I still love how I feel. I love that it's 3 simple steps. I love that I wake up first thing in the morning, I get this done and I move on with my day. I love the simplicity. I love that I don't have headaches. I love that I have mental clarity. I love that I sleep all night long. You know, whatever your story is, short, simple, sweet. It's not about breaking down the product or what's in it, not in it. And let me tell you, because if that's where it were about, Natasha is the person to do that because she has a nutritional background. But it's not about that. And even though she does have a nutritional background, she doesn't do that, right? She only shares what it's doing. She shares the story. There's a reason that some of you will hear us say this over and over again, and it's because it works. It's still working 6.5 years later, just keeping it simple, leading with the stories, what it's doing for you, what it's doing for others. And then that paints that picture of what it can do for them. Because if you're talking about it's all these vitamins and minerals and this does this and this does that, then they're like, well, I can get this and that at Walmart. You know, like they don't know. You haven't painted that picture of what it can do for them. So we are going to jump over really quickly. Natasha, I'm going to kind of start with you. I'm putting Natasha in. We're going to kind of back and forth chat in between each person so that kind of have some feedback off of that. So Natasha, just tell really quick when you started this. Obviously, I said 6 years ago, but what have you done the same thing? Have you changed anything? What are you doing?
Yeah, so it's been 6 years and a month. So right at 6 years pretty much. And, you know, it looks different than when I first started, because when I first started, it was text messages and phone calls. Now it's a lot of messenger, right? So it's the same conversations with different new people, but using a different platform. You know, I'm not calling my warm market, right? Because my warm market was who I was talking to in the beginning. And man, if I could have a PPA report from when I started, that would be awesome. But we didn't. And so I have no clue what those numbers used to be. But one thing I did in that time as I got started, so those of you who are just getting started, I got on the phone. I got really good at leaving phenomenal voice messages, right? When their voicemail would pick up, and that was back when we actually listened to voice messages, like voicemails. I don't think I really listen to my voicemails anymore. So if you send me a voicemail, sorry, I don't listen. But I would just say, oh my gosh, I have to call you after work. Text me what time you get done with work. I have some exciting things to share with you, right? That was what I did then. Now I'm talking to these new people from social media, and we'll get into that, I think, as we go through, but I'm talking to them and just, you know, like, oh my gosh, where did you go on vacation? Tell me more. What did you do? Oh my gosh, that sounds exhausting. How did you get through your days? Oh my gosh, girl, it was so exhausting. I'm like, you ever heard of Thrive? Like, it can definitely get you through your days faster. So the conversation went from warm market, trust me, I got to talk to you, to finding out their pain point, and then trust me, you gotta experience this. So the conversation is very similar. It's just with strangers versus people I knew. So yeah, I mean, what I share is day 1, day 3, day 10. That hasn't changed, you guys. From the very beginning, I shared day 1, day 3, day 10, because that was kind of all the amount of time I was on it. Now I've been on it 6 years, and usually I never even say I've been doing this for 6 years. I don't say it. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're gonna love this. On day 1, I noticed this. On day 3, this is what I noticed, and day 10 blew me away, and this is what happened on day 10. I don't even go further than that because the person I'm talking to hasn't started Thrive. And they just want to know what it's going to do for them in the first 10 days. So yeah, Amber, it's the same, just strangers versus people I knew.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about in a little bit where you're finding those strangers. We'll chat on that in a minute. Christy. Okay. So y'all, Christy is one of my newest promoters. She is so cute on Facebook. She's like all about TikTok. She makes all these cute things, but she's like, yeah, I don't like to talk to people. So she's gonna go ahead. Christy, unmute. We have a funny kind of story how she got started promoting, but I want to focus right now just on Christy. What did you start doing once you started promoting, and kind of from there?
I started basically just doing generalized like status updates on my Facebook, but then, kind of started over at the beginning and going through my friends list and starting at, all my friends who started with A and then B and C. And I share to my story as well as just to my Facebook posts. And I've noticed a lot of people will kind of reach back out to me, not so much comment on my posts, but like send me a message and be like, hey, I saw this, or I saw what you said. I'm really interested in this. Will it really work for that? And so, just kind of, I'm like a real poster. I post a lot. It is the beginning, but I also want everybody to know that if they need to find somebody, that I'm going to be their person.
Absolutely. I love it. And you are doing exactly what we all did in the beginning. And you're just like, I'm here. I'm your thriver. So you are frozen, but we hear your voice. So go ahead and just kind of share with us once you're getting people asking you what it is or they're messaging you, what are you doing?
The first thing that I do is start a three-way chat with you. And I noticed that you had done the same thing with me when I reached out to you, even though I was already bought in and I was sold, and you still ended up connecting me with Maria, which I thought was great. And she shared a story, that I could relate to. She immediately sent me a link with the PA that she had interviewed, and I'm a nurse practitioner, so I was able to quickly relate to that story and know if it worked for her, it was going to work for me. And so it doesn't matter who I come across. I'm connecting my friends with Amber. I swear, I don't know how she keeps up with her own normal life at home, because I feel like she's on my three-way chats all the time.
So, okay, I'm going to interrupt right there because I will tell you.
But that third person validation, I think is so important. And, just to have somebody else's perspective or somebody else's story,
Oh, there. Yeah, I think you have a delay and you're frozen. But okay, so I'm going to jump in. I know Natasha's giggling. But here's the thing. Christy, when she started, did y'all hear her say, I got her in a three-way chat with Maria? Yes, she already ordered. She had already ordered. She was ready to go. But I went ahead and continued what I've always done. And that was I introduced her to Maria just to connect her. Hey, Maria, this is Christy. She's our newest promoter. She's super excited. Can you share your story? That's it, right? And we both told Christy, just make sure you're connecting everybody to Amber. And I will tell you, I think that first day, I don't think she did until I was like, hey, you really need to connect me. And then all of a sudden, it was 20 three-way messages in 4 days. And I was like, woohoo! It's when it clicks, right? And so she started doing that, and she hit her VIP in, I think it was 6 days. It was less than 7 days, your first bonus. 3, okay, it was 3 days. All right. So she hit that, in 3 days. And it was all because she was putting me in those chats. And here's the thing, when people, they're asking questions, I'm answering the questions, she's sharing her story. And we're like teaming together, you know, but at the same time, she's like letting me share my story. And then she comes back with those that haven't ordered. She follows up in that same thread. Not everybody does that, and you don't have to. It's totally up to you. But she's really, guys, she's blunt. Like, she's following up and she's like, hey, all right, you said you were ready. Are you ready to order yet? Like, she is straight out there. She's like, she told one of our mutual friends, she's like, I know she's been waiting to pay me back. She's owed me a favor, and I know she's been waiting so I could do this. You know, it was just so funny. Like, she's just straight out there. And that's one thing, is like, she knows what this is doing for her. So Christy, like, kind of I think it's crazy too, because you said you're not proactive, you're not outgoing, because I'm like, oh yeah, we just need to find people like you. They're proactive and outgoing. She goes, I'm none of those things. But because of what Thread is doing for her, she's not scared. Like, she's like, I want everybody to feel this good. So Christy, if you could say like one last thing, what would that be on how to just get out and do it?
I mean, I guess I would just say to everybody, just keep talking and keep sharing, because kind of like Amber had said, you know, we have a weird story that's kind of behind the scenes, but people are watching you. You know, you not connect with that person today or tomorrow, but people are watching and they're interested, and eventually they'll reach out.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, girl. You did amazing. Natasha, what's your let's kind of just chat. What's your takeaway from her, just a brand new promoter?
Yeah, I think that it's perfect, because I always tell people when they're first getting started, you don't need to know anything. You just got to connect people, right? Like, the beauty of getting started and being able to connect people is you earn while you learn. And the reason she's hitting VIP, the reason a few girls on that just started with me are hitting VIP, is because they're just getting people in chats with me, and they're listening and learning as I'm closing the sale, without really closing the sale, right? It's just doing our conversation. So I think that's amazing. Great job. That's so awesome.
I love it. I love it. All right. We're going to jump right on over to Julianne. And Julianne, if I'm not saying your name right, let me know. You should be able to unmute. I have to find you. Oh, there you are. Can you unmute? There you go. Okay.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, you're saying it right.
Awesome. Well, I got all nervous earlier when Natasha was like, no, I think her name is Jocelyn on here. So then I was like, wait, I think I'm saying
Oh, that's why you asked me what my name was. I was like,
I couldn't find you on there. So, all right, awesome. I love that pillow in the background, by the way.
Target.
Somebody had that pillowcase this weekend at our retreat, and she said she got it at Target. I was like, what? All right, so everybody go to Target, buy the Rise and Thrive pillow. Okay, so Julianne, how long have you been thriving? And tell us what you're doing with this PPA. Like, I know you've been thriving for like a year-ish. So
yeah, about there.
How did you get started?
I started because my friend kept posting it all the time, just how she was saying, just let people know that you're doing it. And one day I said, I'm just going to try it. I was like, it's going to help me. And she said, yes, it helps with everything. So I tried it. And on day one, I was like, I don't need caffeine. Okay, I'm just going to continue. I just continued to thrive for about a year before I started promoting. And I only started promoting the last 3 months, really, seriously.
Okay, that answers that question then. Okay, so you've been doing it for about a year, but you really started promoting in the last few months.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what switched for you? What switched where you were like, all right, I'm all in?
People started asking me. They started reaching out to me and were asking me a little bit more about it. And then 2 people bought, and then 2 people bought. And then my upline hit me up and said, you know, you're halfway to 4K. I went, really? Oh, I guess I should try doing this.
That is so awesome. Okay, so now what are you doing? You've got a PPA of 17 in the last 30 days. So what are you doing to get those people? How are you sharing? How are you finding your people?
Right now, all my people are actually only people I know so far. It's still my warm market. It's basically, I talk to anything that walks.
Oh my gosh. Somebody write that down. She talks to anything that walks. Y'all, that is anytime somebody asks me when they're like, how are you successful with Thrive? I'm like, I don't shut up about Thrive. Like, that's just it. Like, I don't shut up about Thrive because I know what it's doing for me and I know what it's doing for so many people. So yeah, talk to anything that walks. Okay. So are you doing three-way chats and three-way calls, or?
I actually really push samples because Thrive is different for everybody. And a lot of the people that reach out to me are ones I don't talk to very often. Like they said, people are always watching. They reach out to me and it helps them in different ways. So I just know that if I get samples in their hands, there's going to be a lot of day one Thrivers. It's a game of numbers to me.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And y'all watch the training on Saturday. She said it's a numbers game. And if you don't have any numbers, you're not in the game. So absolutely. So tell us then, because I always say I have a love-hate relationship with samples. Just because sometimes, and Natasha knows this, sometimes some people, they're like day one and they're ready and they're committed. And then some people are like, I did it for all 3 days and it didn't work, So what do you do? How do you handle that? How do you set them up going into samples?
I talk to everybody. I have to keep calling them. It's a lot of work, but it's really in the follow-up. You have to baby them. You have to talk to them all the time and make sure they're doing it right. Some people will fall off. People won't listen still. But again, you just keep moving. You keep it going. Don't get hurt. They'll either come back or they'll reach out. If people don't take it seriously, I can't really make them. I just keep spreading the word.
Yes, girl. I'm like over here. Natasha knows I'm excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you are saying everything. Like we can't pull people along, and they're either ready or they're not ready. Y'all, the thing is too, sometimes somebody may love that sample, but they can't afford it right now. And so they're not going to tell you. They're not going to say, oh yeah, it was amazing, I'm broke. Like, sometimes they may use that excuse, but sometimes they're embarrassed of their financial situation. And so they're just gonna be like, yeah, it didn't work. Yeah, I didn't notice anything. And secretly they're thinking, man, I wish I could really tell her that I loved it. And how can I get it? So that's why it's really important that you paint that picture. Let them know that it's just a sample. It's just 3 days. It's for them to see the simplicity. Oh my gosh, how are they going to feel in 30 days? Like when they get that first month in their body, how good are they going to feel? Oh my gosh, did I tell you you can get it for free? Once you have 2 friends ordering, you actually get your product free next month. Like you can fit all that in a little snippet. And then that way you're making sure that your samples work for you. We are getting questions of, do you charge for your samples?
Yes and no. It depends on who it is. I'm very direct. So I'll put it out there, and if people want to buy it, they can buy it. If people that I know that could really benefit from it, I do give away some of my samples. However, because I give it to them, I tell them that they have to follow up, they have to do it correctly, and they have to do all these guidelines, and they have to report back to me how they feel.
Yes. Okay. Exactly. Guys, that is smart sampling right there. And then also adding in connecting them to your uplines, connecting them to somebody else's story. That third party validation that Christy and Natasha talked about. Guys, when you put all this together, it is like the sweet spot formula. Like it is amazing. And Natasha, can you jump in? Do you have anything on that or questions for Jules? I'm saying Jules now because her people are all commenting. Yeah. They're like, Jules.
It's easier for people.
You guys are seeing, this is her Instagram, you guys. Like, you can take some notes here. Look how gorgeous this is. I mean, this is what she's posting. She is thriving 100% out loud. Amazing. I just had to show that. Just
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Okay, that overwhelms me and kind of stresses me out a little bit. It's so perfect. But guys, remember, it doesn't have to be that perfect, but if you like that and you can be that way, get after it, do it. You know, we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook. Don't forget your own personal phone, your contacts, your people in it. Like Paul always says, use your emails, go back to your emails. Who all's in your email contacts? Send an email like, hey, we haven't talked in 20 years. What's up? Like just reach out. I know Natasha's done that. Guys, Maria and I, when we started this, when she started and she messaged, she messaged me and asked if she could call me. And I had no idea why, because we weren't even really friends. We were literally acquaintances. We met a couple times in person, and then we were Facebook friends, and that was it. And she knew I was a tired mom. She knew I was chasing my boys, racing across the country. Like, she knew I was tired and I needed this in my body. She had no idea that I was going to explode some business. She had no idea that I was going to reach out to somebody I hadn't talked to in 20 years, Chastity Marie, that rocked this business and exploded like crazy wildfires. Like, she didn't know any of that. She just knew what this product was doing, and she was reaching out to everybody. Like, guys, you've got to take notes on that. It's not about, well, I think so-and-so would be good at this business. Or I think, yes, those are great notes to take so you know when you're following up with people, but don't limit yourself. I kind of love, somebody used to say, don't you dare make a decision for somebody else. Like, don't you decide, well, they're only going to be a customer, or they only need the business, or, you don't know what their situation is. And let's face it, everybody needs this product. All right, Natasha, what you got?
All right, so you want me to add to? Yeah, are you shaking your head? Okay, cool.
Yes, please.
Awesome. I love it. Oh my gosh. So that, I love all this. It's talking to people. It's having the conversation. It's getting in your phone, texting, messaging, right? I want to know, like, how many of you have actually reached out to every single Facebook friend you have? If you have 523, have you sent them all 523 on there a message saying, hello, how are you? What's new? You're not, right? Like, that's the bottom line. And I can tell you there's been times when I didn't have PPA going on. I was like, oh my gosh, I have no new customers. What am I doing wrong? Well, it wasn't what I was doing wrong. It was what I wasn't doing. And I wasn't having conversations. So I want to answer. So somebody was like, I don't know how to do Instagram. Girl, I didn't either. I went to YouTube University and I figured it out. And if you're still getting stuff from Facebook, stick where you're good, right? She's phenomenal on Instagram. I won't even come close to even trying to do what she's doing, but it is gorgeous. It is amazing. But I can learn from that. I can go, wow, that looks cool. I really like how she did that. That's a really cool, neat picture. And I can duplicate that kind of thing, right? But I'm not going to start tomorrow and only focus on my Instagram. So if that's you, just one step at a time, you guys, one step. And if you do truly want to learn something new, university, go to YouTube.
I'm going to jump in on that on the Instagram. Here's the other thing I've learned in this is, so like my kids have Instagram, right? They're teenagers. One's about to be an adult. Oh my gosh. But they have Instagram. They don't have Facebook. And I'm pretty sure by the time they're 18, they're not going to have Facebook. So we have like what M. Henning, she's massive on Facebook. And the thing is, and I learned that from her at a local when she said, I've been doing Instagram since I was 12 years old. Like that's just, and not in network marketing, that's just her jam. And so our jam as older people, our jam has been Facebook, and we have to learn Instagram. So don't stress yourself out. Don't overthink it. You can work yourself in and all of that, and you can work into that. Yes, Stacy. Yeah, Facebook did buy Instagram, and they're together, but it's still two different platforms. So it is two different ways to meet more people. And we have lots of other trainings on that as well. Okay, Natasha, I just wanted to just really say that about that, the age differences and people that have just been on Instagram, they just know it. They've been on it.
Absolutely. So cool. So I've been doing this a while, and I gotta be honest. I went through my warm market probably 25 times. And I've said some really dumb things to them. And then I come back and I'm like, I cannot believe I sent you that message. I am so sorry. I was in a contest and that so was not me. And then we just laugh about it, right? So if you've had those conversations and you're like, gosh, I just really wish Susie would thrive with me, but man, I sent her that really weird message like a year ago and she never talked to me since. Just go and go, oh my gosh, how has it been a year? And I cannot believe you didn't say anything about that message I sent you. That is just straight up not me. Like that was just not okay. I have those conversations all the time to get back on those things. But I want to show you, if it's cool, Amber, I want to show them where I'm getting all of my connections to have conversations now that I've went to the market. I do have to rely a lot, almost 99% on Facebook to have conversations. So I'm going to show you guys my phone again. So give it a second. It should pop up. Okay, so I'm in my Facebook stories right now. This is just what's available to be viewed right now. I am nothing fancy. I want you guys to really see that. Like I was on a podcast, so great. I took the picture that she sent me. I didn't create that picture. And I have 275 viewers. So out of these viewers, what I do every single day, and the reason I like Facebook is because yes, I'm old and I do not get to these people the day I do it. Instagram, you lose your viewers, like the names of the viewers, pretty dang fast, or too fast for me. So it's just a couple days. So with Facebook, the names are always there from the very first story you've ever done. And so I've been going back and seeing all these people. So I have 275 viewers. Literally, I scroll through here, and if a name pops out that's not already a Thriver, or I'm like, okay, she's a new customer with mine. So I'm like, she's watching what I'm doing. Okay, cool. Then you have, oh, my aunt is watching. Then I have other people on here that are not Thrivers, you guys. There's a lot of non-Thrivers on here. So all these non-Thrivers that I'm seeing, I write their names down. These are the people tomorrow I'm going to have a conversation with. Just bringing up a conversation. Now when I go to this one, I have 192. I go through it again. Yes, you're going to have some duplicate names, but what names stick out to you? And I bet if you did 4 to 5 stories a day, you could have, the lowest amount that you would have was 20 new people to talk to a day. 20 new people a day. And so are you using your stories to see who is watching what you're doing, who is interested in your life already? Guys, that's where all of my PPA is coming from, is stories and groups. That's it. I'm meeting new people. These are people that I haven't had a conversation with. I'm adding 10 new people to my network. You know, that little thing there that says, you may know, right? That little part. If I don't have a bunch of mutual friends that are Thrivers, you better believe I'm adding them as a friend, and I'm sending them a message saying, Facebook keeps telling me I need to be your friend. And I checked out your social media because that's what we do on Facebook. And you're pretty interesting. I would love to get to know you and, you know, just have a little chat. They come back or they don't, right? They either accept my friend request and message me back, or they don't. Who cares? I don't. But I created the connection. I sent the message, and then a conversation either does or doesn't happen. But I'm not focused on the result. I'm just focused on the action. I am focused on actually sending the message, sending the friend request. And then with the stories, taking these names, writing them down, and making that conversation happen, right? I do nothing fancy. You guys can look at my stories. They are not fancy. It is my good morning. It's a picture of me, and my kids are reading. That's it. You can put Thrive on there. There's days I put Thrive on there. There's days, but I don't spend a lot of time trying to make everything look beautiful, because that's the reason I didn't do Instagram forever. That's the reason I didn't do stories, because I'm like, gosh, I don't have time to go do photo shoots. Well, I don't have to, right? I don't have to. You don't have to, but you can, and they're really awesome when you do. You know, so just do you. But as you're doing you, how are you missing the leads that are right in front of you? gain and focus and stay so intentional with those leads, those people are interested in what you're doing. You just have to have the conversation. So that's where I'm finding people, Amber.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Okay. So here's something else is, guys, she's finding these people and she's doing what we talk about with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? She's doing 5, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
5 reach outs.
5 reach outs, 4 follow-ups. Guys, she's using those names, following up. 3 social media posts. It's different platforms, right? It can all be, whether it's stories, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever, utilizing that. Adding 2 names. You just heard her talk about she's adding names to her list. Not necessarily, she is adding people to her Facebook, she just mentioned, but adding 2 names doesn't mean you're adding 2 new people into your life every day. You're adding 2 new people to your list. And that's people that you can share Thrive with, that you can reach out to. And then connecting with a leader, whether it's upline, downline, a leader in your team. Natasha, I want to touch on something that you said, and you're like, I'm going to message them, and who cares if they respond? I don't. That is something I think is hard for so many people, and we've got a lot of new people on. It's so hard. We think, I don't want to bother my friends and family, and I don't want people to unfriend me, and I don't want people to unfollow me, and I don't want them to think I'm just another this or that. My personal opinion, and I'm a people pleaser, y'all, so I get it. But I knew right away how good I felt. I knew what this was saving me from. Y'all, it helped my marriage. Like, it helped everything. And so I know that I'm going to keep talking about this, just like I don't shut up about sharing Jesus. Like, these are the 2 things that I will never shut up about, And so if they want to unfriend me for that, bye. If they don't want to respond, they're going to respond later. It's fine. I'm going to keep sharing. It's fine. They unfollow me, whatever. It's one of those things that I'm not going to let it get to me. Now, does it bother me when I go back and I'm like, oh, so-and-so in my memories unfriended me? Well, that's kind of crappy. Like, yeah, I'm sad about it, but I'm like, whatever. Like, because it does hurt your feelings, but at the same time, it's like, if they unfriended me because I talk Thrive a lot, like, then I don't think we were really friends. Like, I love how Mitzi always says, just send the message. What are they going to do? Take away your birthday? So, it's that kind of thing. What do you're not as much of a people pleaser as I am. So what are you, does it bother you at all? Like, when you see people unfriend you or anything?
Nope. I'm not. And here's the deal. I got really good. Like, why do I have Facebook? It's not to keep up with the Joneses. It's not to keep up with, if I want to talk to family, I get on the phone, right? And so Facebook isn't there for me to stay connected to family. Like, I'm connected to family, and they're not going to unfriend me. And if they do, well, that's their loss, whatever, not mine. The biggest thing is I got so laser focused that I use this platform as my business. This is my business. And I share my life on there because our lifestyle is part of Lavelle and the Thrive experience. So my life is out there, but that isn't out there because I want to please my family so they can see what I'm doing. That's because that's the life that I live, and we live our life out loud with Thrive. So I treat my social media like a business. So when people unfriend me, they just sorted themselves. I don't have to have that conversation with them, and I don't have to waste my time. They just saved me time.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm going to go back through Christy, Julianne, if there's anything you have left, like 30 seconds each. Either one of you want to add anything?
The key to everything for me is building relationships. I just go through the people and then I come back because they always come back and they know that I'm going to be consistent. So stay consistent and just keep building those relationships. I don't always talk about Thrive. I just reach out and comment on things, and then they notice you. Then they're going to start looking at your stuff. That's it.
Yeah. Say that again, please.
I was like, really?
No. But
for the people in the back.
Yeah, for the people in the back. Like, it is. It's about creating relationships. It's about what she said. I go through the people and I come back to the people. Like, that's what it is. All right, Christy. I don't know where that's coming from.
And I'm just going to say, just reaching out, over and over again. I'm sure everybody's realized who, even on Facebook, which is my main platform, that, you see things on people's, from their stories from like 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago, and you're wondering where that stuff came from. So, I have no idea who's seeing, what I actually post today, which is why, I've kind of started going back through the alphabet, like we talked about, and reaching out to each person kind of individually and just saying, hey, I don't know if you've seen that I've started doing this. And it's kind of an icebreaker, and we talk about it. Some people don't respond, and I have a lot of people, reach out and say, hey, yeah, absolutely, tell me more. And then, I've also had people say, I'm interested right now, but hey, how's it going? So I'm using that to be able to kind of start, a new relationship. A lot of these people I haven't spoken to in quite some time. So just consistency and building relationships for sure.
I love that. And I'm so glad that the lagging stopped at the end, because we totally needed to hear that. So, so glad. All right, Natasha, anything you have left?
I'm going to go quickly through these questions that people ask. When do you recommend other products? I don't recommend any other products until month 2. I don't. I want to see how 1, 2, 3 does for the first month. Mm-hmm. Follow up after a general reach out. How do you get into the Thrive conversation? The conversation has to lead to it. So ask the questions that are relevant for you to know why they need Thrive, right? If you don't know what you sell and why they need it, you know what you sell, but if you don't know why they need it, you can never go to that Thrive conversation, right? So you gotta ask the questions to get the answer. How do you get promoters? You simply ask. When I have a new person ordering, I say there's 2 ways to order, especially if they haven't stressed to me what kind of account they want to be, right? Like, I just want to start as a customer. Well, I'm not going to like push it down their throat. But when somebody's like, all right, I think I'm ready to order, I'm like, sweet. There's 2 ways you can order. Is it cool if I tell you both ways? They say, yeah, obviously. I'm like, you can start as a customer. You're going to get your products at auto ship price, at wholesale price. I'm going to get you some free products. And then we have a referral program so you can Thrive for free, which is super awesome. We'll talk about that later. Or you can order today as a promoter, and not only will you be able to Thrive for free, but you'll also earn commission on that. So it's free to join as a promoter and earn the free product and earn money. So which way is best for you to do today? And I just stop. I let them answer. I give them both options right up front. And then they also remember, hey, you said something about promoting it that first time we talked, right? That's really how I bring up. When do you do a chat, like a 3-way chat? When they ask a question, or when they're like, okay, so will this work for me? I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to hear my friend Chastity's story. Chas, can you share your story? I don't ask my newest person that I'm talking to if it's cool if I put them in a chat. They're going to be like, no, I'm good. I don't talk to anybody. But if you put them in a chat, they never cuss at you. They're totally cool with it. So just put them in the chat and then just say, hey, Natasha, this is my friend Susie. She's looking at Thrive. I'm super excited for her. I'm answering all her questions, but can you share your story with her? I'm going to say, absolutely. Let me share my story. And then I move right out of that conversation unless they still need me for questions. So those were all the questions that were asked. Covered. Boom.
Okay. I'm going to jump in on that one, on the when do you do a 3-way chat and what you just said about it. So I want to say, I don't think I said this at the beginning. Another reason, there's multiple reasons for doing that third-party validation. One is just, it's somebody else's story. It's another person. I always joke about how like your kids and your husband, they don't listen to you. You can tell them 75 times, but then the neighbor says it and they're like, oh, Mom, I want broccoli. Mrs. So-and-so said broccoli's good for you. Or, whatever, right? Like they come home and they say things that you've already said and somebody else said it, so they like hear it. It's just the human brain, so it's just how it works. That's why we do third-party validation. But also with what Christy touched on when she said, she was already ready to order. She was in, we were having the conversation, she was jumping in, and then I introduced her to Maria. But she said, because I introduced her to Maria, she already knew how it worked. She already knew what it looked like. It wasn't scary, it wasn't like, oh, I don't know how to do a chat. I don't know what my friends are going to think. It was just, well, that's what she did. I'm going to do what she did. And so it creates that duplication. When you bring people in a three-way chat or a three-way phone call, they are like, hey, that's pretty simple. Like, Amber just connected me to her friend, or Julianne just connected me to her friend Linda, and Linda told her story, and I can do that. Where if you are this wealth of knowledge, they think, well, I'll just be a promoter because or I'll just be a customer because gosh, I could never know all that stuff Natasha just said. Like, I could never remember all that. There's no way I can know ingredients. There's no way I could ever answer all those questions. Like, that's just too hard. And you've already shut them off from the possibility of them possibly being a promoter later, because that duplication wasn't there, and they think they have to be super smart and that it takes a long time. So, Natasha, anything else?
Yeah, the last thing I'll say is, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is your foundation, right? That just keeps your blood pulsing. It's like your heart's pumping. You're still doing the bare minimum to keep things just moving. People know you're active. People know you're thriving. People are having conversation with you. But I'll tell you, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 isn't going to help you go from 4K to 12K. Like, you got to triple those numbers. Like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is phenomenal. But at the stage I'm at, to get 17 PPA this month, I can tell you I'm talking to 30 to 35 new conversations a day. I'm following up with, I don't know how many. And I'm posting still, 3, 4 times. Like, that didn't go up. And I'm adding 10 new people to my network every single day. So 2 went to 10, 5 went to 30 to 35, 4 went to probably closer to, 30 to 40. And that's how 17 happens. If I were to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'd probably have a PPA of like 2 or 3, which is awesome, which is absolutely awesome. It just depends on what goals you want. Make sure your goals are aligned with the actions that you're taking, and then you're going to be extremely happy. So that's just one thing I want to say is, it takes massive action to have massive results.
Yes, absolutely. Massive action, massive results, that 10X rule. I want to answer this really quick. Stacy said, why isn't the skincare line also being promoted? It's awesome. Can someone order that as a kit as well when they join? Yes, they absolutely can. And I agree. And there are some people that come in and they promote, hi, they promote, I miss my voice. They promote the skincare because that's what they came on for. We did not start with the skincare. The skincare is less than 2 years old. I think it's 2 years old at this point. So it's something that the skincare didn't change my life, So I lead with the Thrive Experience 1, 2, 3. But yes, we do have skincare. So I do say, oh my gosh, I lead with the product of the Thrive Experience 1, 2, 3. But then I can always say, oh, and we have skincare. We have charcoal mask. We have all this other stuff that once you're feeling amazing from the inside, you can start feeling that on the outside as well. So they go hand in hand. And I personally feel like there's so much skincare out there. That's not something I lead with because, again, it didn't change my life. But we do have some people that are bomb rocking the skincare, and that's what they focus on. So it's just different.
Yeah, I'll say something on that real quick is, what are you passionate about? Are you passionate about the nutrition or the skincare? That's where you want to lead because they're going to feel that energy and confidence. And then it's the bring the other in, right? I don't lead with Boost, but I'll share it with somebody. I'm not super confident and excited about Boost talking to somebody about drinking a green thing, right? They're going to not want that. But I'm super confident in what happened day 1, day 3, day 10. So go with what you're so passionate about. Like Brooke Wykes, she does phenomenal talking about skincare. She's got so many skincare, but that's a passion of hers. To me, I'm like, I have to do what and then what and what's this called and what's it actually doing? Because it's not of interest to me, right? I've always been in nutrition. So just do what makes the best sense for you.
Absolutely. All right. We are going to wrap this up. Thank you, Julianne, Christy, Natasha, everybody that jumped on tonight. Thank you so much for taking your time. Guys, remember, this will be up in Thrive Stars YouTube. I have much better internet now and they upload much faster. But also we have Natasha's YouTube channel, Thrive Stars, Thrive Nation. Guys, there's so many places. Also, your back office, your cloud office. Guys, those training videos, those are golden. Go through, if you've got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they break them down pretty quickly. Like none of them are over long. So you can actually go in and watch those. It's all about, if you want to know all these things and you want to know how to continue to build your business, commit to the education, right? Like don't overtrain to the sense of you have all this knowledge and you're not doing anything with it, but let it basically propel you forward into what you're truly doing. Yes, train 1 hour, do action 1 hour. So watch a video or two and then go and do something you learned from that video. All right. Thanks, Natasha. Bye, everybody.